Corey Thompson here. This is the Different Generations podcast. Today we talk about Jordan Belfort, Grant Cardone, sales training, and the fights we got into in our 20s. Braxton, I've had a weird week. Me and old Biggins, we hauled the tractor. We had to go get the tractor. So first thing that happened was our tractor's got a glitch in the matrix. If you stall it out, it don't start after that. So that happened to us trying to save a skunk's life. I have no idea how the skunk died, but he died. He died at the step of the tractor. I was in there by myself. Smelled like a skunk. We load it up, put it on the trailer, haul it over there. We're doing some shredding, stalled it out again, so me and him had to walk out of the field together. That was a pretty good day, though. We were loading the turnbuckles that we tied down the tractor up with, and I was like, bring me that turnbuckle, and he picked it up. Ugh. It's like a deadlift for him.
Those aren't light. I mean, they're not heavy by any means, but it's like...
No, it was great form, too. I mean, great form. He's like... And he even said they're heavy.
Like a farmer's carry? Like...
Yes.
Just walked it over?
Walked it over on the trailer, handed it to me on the side. I was like, bring me another one. So he brought me all three from the middle of the trailer to the side of the trailer and loved it. Do you remember being little with your dad?
I remember certain things. Like, there's just... You get... Like, to give you a little bit of power, you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
Like, you do something.
Do something productive.
Yeah.
Just give them anything.
Some honest work. And
That's
you're
it.
like, this is great.
I get to help. I get to hand him a wrench. I get to do whatever. Yeah, that's...
I remember the first time I got to run a drill. It was wild.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my gosh.
I get to work on something. I'm trusted to put this screw in.
Yeah.
Got one job.
Trusted to strip it out, too.
That's right. You stripped it.
Yeah. That's what you do.
It's tore up. We'll have to do that one again. But that's how you learn.
Part of life, though.
Yeah, so Biggins, he brought me the turnbuckles. I didn't have my phone. My phone, I guess, might have been in my pocket. I don't know. I'd started the truck. Maybe it was in there. But he picked it up, great form, arched his back, and said it's heavy, which is just fun.
It's weird that he knows what that is.
It's so damn strange. It's like
how people learn.
He articulated that a turnbuckle that he just picked up,
a sensation that he's feeling, he knows how to describe it.
He put it in the word. And standing right there, and I'm like, how do you learn that? How did you know that was heavy?
This is the word I use when I feel my muscles straining to lift something.
That's right. You've never experienced it. You've never experienced it. It's not something we're walking around teaching. You know what I mean? It's just context clues that you picked up through watching other people.
Yeah, it's not like you're handing them a weight in a cup and saying, light, heavy. Yeah, it's just...
Never did that drill. So, pretty amazing. When people, I hope you carry this with you, when people are trying to articulate what it's like to have a child, what it's like to have a kid, and why kids are fun and all that. It's that moment on the trailer when you're like, hand me that turnbuckle, and he... didn't teach him what a turnbuckle was, but hand me that turnbuckle, and he grabs it and brings it to me.
You can also describes
it as heavy, and I'm like, I need the pins. They're orange, and there's two of them, and he goes to the orange pins that there's two of. Now there's straps and everything else on the trailer, but he goes to the, and I was like, smart kid, man.
And that's what's crazy about that too is like, why would he think that's a pin either?
Well, he didn't know.
Trailer pins don't look like a pin that you write with.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, true. But he was looking around for them. Like whenever I said, hand me the pins, he started looking, and I was like, there's orange. There's two of them. And he went to the orange dose. And
but now he's going to know those are pins.
Those are pins. He'll know that. Like now, since he can articulate heavy, he's going to know that those are pins.
Yeah.
But that's a little part of like parenting. And this is after we just walked completely the property in Clifton. We'd walked that diagonally through the bushes. For him, he's not taller than the grass, but he refused to let me carry him, and he refused to walk at a normal speed. So he was like 20 yards behind me the whole time, just stomping on grass and like trying to like weave in and out of it. I'm like, come on, buddy, come on. We're in a little bit of a hurry.
Making his way.
Yeah, he's making his way. He's got his boots on. We were having a good time, but the tractor has this weird thing where it won't start.
Boots are a good time when you're a kid, too.
What?
Boots?
Oh, yeah.
You can do anything until you meet cactus. You think you're better than it until you're not.
Really?
Yeah,
Kid boots don't guard against cactus.
mine didn't. Went straight through the sides, everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I was mowing a lot of cactus that day. And I was thinking, I was like, man, I've mowed a cactus, but just driving through the whole field of cactus, I'm like, this is probably going to get a tire. Like, I can see the spines on them. They're like this long.
Like that's
That's a tire getter right there. So I was a little apprehensive about how I drove through the cactuses with the tractor. But anyways, I did not know that a cactus could go through a boot. My boot's not my boot's Red Wings, grown man boot. Doesn't get beat up like that. Braxton, tell me a story. What's going on in your life?
I started straight line selling or whatever it's called. But Jordan Belfort
Oh,
started his book. It's interesting. It's sales. I can't remember what the actual book is called. It's the premise is straight line selling.
what's straight line selling?
He's just sales process his brand of it.
Really?
He's much bigger into body language and tonality. Like he's talked about that a whole lot more than I feel like Grant has.
Grant calls that woo woo. I tend to agree with Grant, but body language and tonality can tell you a lot. But trying to mirror people when it
So the NLP,
yes.
that's what he talked a lot about, and he said he was master at it, and he was big on that. And he brought up, he said that there's studies that show that the first impression on somebody, 45% is the body language, 45% is the tonality, and only 10% is actually what you're saying to them. I don't know. Those are just kind of arbitrary numbers. Like I have nothing to relate that to or anything.
I love stats because you can just make them up on the fly.
Right. That's where I'm like, I don't know. That's interesting to say that. I don't know anything about that. What studies you're talking about? How you measure that?
It's just stuff. It's like you read it through him. You'll quote it down the line.
Yeah.
When the study was actually done and how many times it's passed through the filter of what it is now versus what it was when the study was done.
Yeah.
It's the only
Who
thing.
knows?
Who knows? But I do think that I hate NLP. It's got a creepy vibe. It's like, what do you study? You know what I mean? It's like studying NLP is just weird to me. It's like, women throw out labels all the time. You go to the TikToks ever? You ever scroll on
A lot.
Okay, so if you ever spend any time on TikTok, you end up on douchebag TikTok. So like you got crypto Twitter, and then you got hot chick TikTok, you got single mom TikTok,
Okay.
then you got douchebag TikTok, and then you got the feminazi TikTok, and the liberal TikTok, and the conservative TikTok.
Of course.
So when TikTok zeroes you in and you consuming part of their stuff from the algorithm, it'll give you a high dose of it. But the women that are the feminazis that are labeling every man a narcissist, it's like, oh, okay, that's bad. All those guys are NLP people.
I could see that.
They're straight up.
Well,
NLP.
definitely how he talks. He's like, yeah, I'm one of the only best natural born salesmen. I just get it.
Yeah.
Because it's him narrating the book. It's just kind of funny. It's like this dude's kind of but it's very interesting to me, like all the NLP stuff and how much he's talked about body language is everything, the people's like reactions and how they tense up. And I don't know.
If you go watch his interview with Grant.
There's one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That would be, I'll watch that on the way home because that would be interesting.
Yeah, they get into it.
I would, from what I'm a little over halfway done, I would be more like, yeah, that's kind of interesting things to look at, but I'm definitely, Grant's sales process, I think.
Well, Grant's is all based on Scientology, so I mean, where it's rooted. He's taken the courses that they sell to him in Scientology and watering it down and giving it,
and he transmits it in the car sales,
in the car sales,
and then we transmit it into real estate. Like,
and then we transmit it into real estate, and then we go into our office and we teach our leasing agents how to sell through the processes that we learned from Grant, that he learned from Scientology. So it's whatever. I mean, it's all rooted in something, but Grant's story is a little more in depth as far as like information informed selling. Like when people are like, they used to teach hide the price, build value first, then give the price. Grant goes at you with price first. You know what I mean?
Well, because he's also a believer in price is irrelevant if the value's there.
That's right.
It's like that shouldn't be a selling point.
That's right.
Like you should be able to show that, hey, no matter the price, it doesn't
right.
like that doesn't matter. It provides enough value.
And there used to be this thing where they would, give you a pen and say, "Sell me the pen," in an interview, or "Sell me the cup of water," "Sell me whatever." And Jordan tried that with Grant in the interview, and Grant's like, "Why the fuck would I even want? You know what I mean? This is useless. Like this is useless." You just digest it on your own. Maybe you can pull it up. Pull up the Jordan Belfort,
Grant
Cardone. Pull up a clip. Well, and then so Grant got mad at Jordan, and called him a crook and all this sort of stuff.
Which is true. Isn't it?
I mean, it is true. But Jordan's way more. He's way more popular with the mainstream people.
I think just because of the movie too. Like he just kind of got like idolized.
Grant covers that too.
Oh, Grant Cardone
with
reaction.
Grant Cardone, who literally, in my book, knows probably about as much about sales as like I don't know, like someone from one of those munchkins from The Wizard of Oz.
That's a bold slap right there.
Hang on a second. In all due respect, buddy, I've trained millions of salespeople.
Millions.
And
How'd you train them there?
What?
How'd you train them?
Doesn't matter. The
From
points
States? Yeah, it matters. It matters.
Slow it down for 1 second, all right? Slow it down for a second. You speak almost as fast as me.
You're
Slow
on
it
the
down.
Red Bull. I'm not.
In the real world, though, that's not. Here's the
In
thing.
my real world, it's possible.
I know, but
in
the
your
pro-
real world, maybe it's not. But in your
in
real
my
world,
real-
everybody's using drugs.
In an average company, right? So you get salespeople, they speak to
I would quit
unqualified.
talking about average companies if I were you. I don't know why
when
you
you
keep
train-
going back to
because-
average.
because
Who wants to be average? Why are you guys studying average
Dude.
people?
This got put out while I was away on vacation.
All right, so hold on.
But when I
Hold on. This
I already love it.
so Grant's people set him up with that interview. So Grant charges. Y'all have seen my Grant Cardone interview. Grant charged to do that interview. Depending on how big your following is and everything else, Grant charged me $35,000 to do that interview. It came with a suite to GrowthCon for 10 people. Ooh. So for $35,000, we interviewed Grant for 30 minutes and got a suite at GrowthCon. And it was a deal we negotiated. You get what I mean? And then we tried to sell enough tickets to cover the $60,000 worth of Airbnb and GrowthCon suite that we had, and we didn't cover. I mean, we didn't cover the $60,000. We couldn't sell $60,000 worth of tickets to do a small mastermind like that. But still, one of the best masterminds we ever put on. So the people that did come out and support it got a ton of value. Donnie Ruffin came, Dan Cito came. I mean, it was a good mastermind. But we ended up eating about $25,000 of that.
Think about it though. I mean, that's not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
No. For what we did, I mean, got to go to Vegas. I mean,
the experience, the interview,
everything.
That being the front page on YouTube does
help.
How that pops up every time you pop up Roughneck Real Estate. It's like Grant Cardone right there interviewing him. It's like
Grant's people set him up with Jordan, and he set him up with Jordan, and didn't really ask Grant ahead of time. And Grant's one of the guys, if he's got a commitment, he keeps it. And so I don't know if Jordan paid, but Grant wasn't happy that he had to go do this interview. So that's
already went in with a bad.
He went in, and he went in with a decent enough attitude. Which Jordan Belfort, you can definitely pay to be on Jordan Belfort's podcast. He'll take whatever money from anybody, and I know that because of the people that I've seen on his podcast. And I'm like, he didn't reach out to them for sure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I get.
And they went into his studio and did the thing. So maybe we pay and we go do Jordan's fucking podcast and fight back. Probably not after he sees this. But anyways, let's see. He won't see this, but if he did his research on us, he'd see this. So let's see what this clown thinks about it.
saw it, it was so entertaining that I had to do my own video on my favorite moments and highlights. I also have their reaction videos after the interview, so stick around for
So they
that.
both just talk trash afterwards?
Oh yeah, no, it was a whole beef.
You got to grow up at some point.
Answer the most nothing.
That guy's a house flipper.
Yeah. Ram real estate investing.
Literally, the guy knows nothing. I mean, literally, I don't get it, okay? So I'm very confused about a guy that can't answer the most basic questions.
Now,
The most
time out.
Basic questions about.
This is the part that pisses me off. So, like Jordan Belfort's trying to frame it. It's not that he couldn't answer the questions. He said he didn't want to. Grant's whole deal is don't follow average people, don't follow, follow companies, don't follow people. You've heard his messaging.
Yeah.
He's like, this is dumb shit.
Purely abundance and
As much as Grant's wrong about a lot of things, he's risen to a level where he no longer understands, and he don't want to understand average. So it's just and that's Jordan's argument, is that the average person, Grant's like, don't be average.
And to a
Problem
certain
solved.
extent, I do agree with it. It's like if you talk and think in those terms, it's like that's what you're going to be. Versus if he's obviously done something to where he's so fixated on one particular thing. That's why he has it.
That's right. And Jordan, like in Grant, all of Grant's videos roasting him. He's like, dude's got a few $1 million. You know what I mean? He's 50-something years old, got a few $1 million, makes all of his money grifting on the internet.
But I think what Grant does fail to understand is like not everyone does want what he's got.
But this is true. But if you're studying somebody, do you want to look? This is my biggest argument with being a real estate guru. If you want to be a real estate guru, study real estate gurus. Period.
Yeah.
Like the flashy ones, their fucking social media, their fucking cute little music that they put with their videos, their jump cuts, how they edit, how they talk, their mannerisms, everything about it. If you want to be a real estate guru, study real estate gurus. If you want to be a real estate investor, study people that own real estate and operate real estate.
Yeah.
You coming in at 17 years old, did you know any real estate gurus?
No.
You found Robert Kiyosaki.
I guess he's a guru.
He is.
But he also owns it.
Does
Or
he?
Says he does. I don't know. I mean, it's hard
Exactly.
to-
Grant's interview with Robert is also interesting because Robert ends the interview because Grant says, if you'd have done half the shit you teach, you wouldn't have to sit here and peddle this bullshit every day on your podcast.
It's
Strong words for Robert Kiyosaki. He ended it right then. If you'd have just done half the shit you taught, you wouldn't have to peddle bullshit on your podcast. Look at what Grant peddles to invest in real estate. He sells $250 million a year in courses. Okay? $250 million, $250 million a year is his sales revenue selling the same content that we consume and train our people with. He just grows it. It's like a it's got tentacles and everything. It just keeps going and going and going. Somebody learns about him every day and pays another $100 a month. $250 million a year in that. Then he takes that $250 and invests it in real estate. You get what I mean?
he's following the rich dad poor dad model.
He is. He's doing exactly what he told him to do, but homie didn't do it. He got addicted to the 250. If you're selling $250 million a year worth of content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call it that, content. Then it feels pretty good. You made 250. Why do I have to go deal with tenants and toilets?
Why not just do that again?
Yeah, I'll just do that again next year. I'll just sell another 250. Grant realizes the 250 dies when he dies. Guess what doesn't die?
Real estate.
The real estate. And even though I doubt his content dies when he dies. I doubt it.
Oh, I get what you're saying though. It's like if you are the content, if you are the guy,
Yeah.
it's at least going to change. You know, and it won't be the same. It might die if it's not ran right. It's like when you're dependent on, like the business is dependent on you. You know, there is that risk that
Healthy risk.
if you're out, it's out.
That's right.
But if you buy something like that, your great grandkids are going to be fine.
And that's what Grant's point in his argument with with Jordan Belfort is, you're peddling bullshit. You're small. You're thinking small. You're living small. Now, that's not the argument I have against the real estate gurus. It's just you came in, you wanted to be a real estate investor. You hired out with a company that operates real estate. Do you think you've learned a lot about investing in real estate, buying real estate, wholesaling real estate, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely.
You know how to wire in a fucking mini split.
Yes. I
Yeah.
do know how to do that.
Right. The fucking dude with the best hair on the internet, with the best content, with the best rap video, he don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to know, right? Because in his mind, the content that pays him, maybe it pays him $150 a year, right? Maybe he makes $150 a year, and he's perfectly content with it. I don't care what content pays us, right? I don't care what this little setup pays us overall, as long as it pushes business to GBT Property Management and produces enough real estate transactions a year that we can then go buy more real estate with. We're all
Right.
until they throw dirt on me, I'm going to be riding around, looking at real estate, doing real estate, operating real estate, fucking off on tractors, building driveways, doing the things that I enjoy doing around real estate, and providing opportunities for others to do it as well. That's it. I don't need to monetize this moment in time on a podcast, which if you need a loan, you can go to roughneck2, the number 2 realestate.com, get you a loan. I don't need to monetize this moment to make it worth my time.
Right.
So you'll see. I mean, I don't know if this guy's reaction video is going to show it, but I do like it. Let's see what old Jordan, see if they're in there. Let's see if they're still at each other's throats.
Selling.
So on an interview the other day, guy keeps asking about sales. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. You gotta grow up at some point and quit thinking about a sale and build a business and then a second business.
JP here in the house, the Wolf's Den. I got a great guest today, the one you've all been waiting for. Everyone keeps thinking that yeah, well, people keep thinking we have this like ongoing feud, like it's the rumble in the freaking beach jungle here. But dude, I'm really actually excited to have you here. Thank you for coming, and I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank
because
you.
I think that listen, all I want you to know is that my whole alchemy is I want to try to extract as much as I can from you about how you go out and trade salespeople, about your life, because I want to give this massive to the
Captions are kinda
Everybody
accurate.
everybody wants to know who's the better salesman, right? That's
That's the only thing he cares
know,
about.
you know?
Proving
You
that.
talk to you, ask Jordan, he's going to say he is.
Listen, I honestly, I think that I love to sell.
Yeah.
But one thing I realized pretty quickly is I'm even better at training salespeople than I am at. I mean, I'm a great salesperson, but I really excel at it. Something about I love doing it. Like when
I don't like sales at all.
I love, and I called.
Hit him
this
in the
guy,
mouth.
Hit him right in the
Grant,
mouth.
On my podcast, supposed to be a great sales trainer, and the guy couldn't answer anything about selling. He
Simply
refers
not
back
true.
to, you got to
Not true.
advertise. People got to know. That's marketing, pal.
Well, I didn't have enough.
I do
ice.
get what
didn't
he's
plan
doing,
on-
though.
I didn't know what
Right.
I was doing, so the fish was going bad.
Got it.
And
All
I'm
right,
like,
so-
I have
so-
to sell this.
Right.
So,
Otherwise-
time out. Grant's telling the story about selling fish. Have you ever heard the story about
I
selling
don't think
fish?
so.
He talks about it in his latest book. He had some fish, but the fish has got an expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go bad pretty quick, so he had to sell the fish. That's what he's talking about. So let's get back into it.
Gonna go
So
bad.
what was your rap? What was your pitch back then?
Hey guys, I got fish. I got fish. That was my.
I'll give you really good
That-
prices. They're
there's
about
my
to.
straight
I don't
line
tell them now they're going to go bad.
I got fish. I just caught him. You want him? And that's how I still sell today, by the way.
Okay.
Like there's no, it's very direct, to the point. Find out if you're interested, and then I move on. I spent thousands of hours practicing the right, perfect thing to say. I have programs that will teach you the exact right, perfect thing to say.
Time
but
out.
Nothing is better.
Do you agree with him?
Yes, and only because I have consumed that content and seen the script outlines that he gives you and stuff. It's not fluff. It's not saying things to trick them into being on the phone longer. It's it's an explanation of services.
Yep.
He has I don't know what you'd call him, like a additional speaker or whatever in Cardone, some old guy that he was big on explanation of services. Is like, for one, everyone around you should know what you do. And he's like, for two, when you ever are in that sale, you've got to have a robust way of explaining exactly what you have to offer to somebody. Get that out the door.
Out the way. You got to know, you got to have your elevator pitch. You got to have it tight. You got to have it within 30 seconds. If what he teaches on the phone course was like, how much time do you have for a call? You know, it's like, I've got
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Great. That's all I need.
Great. That's all I need. You should be able to condense it down to a 30-second sales cycle. Or if they say they got 10 minutes, you should have a 10-minute version as well. And he's right. When you're prepared to go in and be able to articulate what you want to say, I mean, how often are we on the phone? Look, I'm on the phone. I want to buy your house. I want to buy the property at such and such. They tell you all about it. How much will you take? You're right in there. You're not, hey, asking them about the foreclosure, asking them about the probate, asking them about the layer of motivation, what's your top 5 reasons you would consider selling, and all this, so you can then use that as leverage against them.
Like, you list out everything they just said, like, here's what I'm going to solve for you. It's just like, nah, it's like, I want to be in and out of that as fast as possible.
That's right.
Because I want to find the gold.
Well,
And you're only
and-
going to get that by digging for it.
And other people will teach you to find the motivation, so you can then leverage it against the person that needs to sell. And it's a weird structure. Like, I provide a service. I can buy your house. Do you want to sell? Yes. How much do you want? Well, I don't know. How much would you give me? You should have an offer ready right then. all that came from Cardone U and what he's saying in a direct, streamlined process, and the thousands of hours we've spent on the phone. How many hours do you think you've spent on the phone?
I have been thinking about that. Like, I know it's well over probably 1,000, but I think it's a whole lot more than that. I know it's at least that. I know it's a whole lot more than that as well, though.
Did you see my Facebook status?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's my simple point to people that hire
Thousands
everything out.
of calls.
Like, we're thousands of hours better than you, and we get better every single day because we're always in the process.
And it's like, just because if I don't have a lot going on, like my benchmark is at least like 80 to 100 calls, because it's not hard to do. It takes a couple hours just to burn through them. Just bam, 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 bam.
And
I'm leaving a dozen voicemails, just.
The difference in the calls you make on a day, we time block. If we were really, really efficient, we would time block better. But it's like when you hit dead time in your day, it's kind of the same process whenever I was living in an RV. It's like I would hit dead time, and it's like, what else can I work on? So the things that we found to work on now that we're not in a hot real estate market is we're going to look for buyers, right? So we've
Calling other agents.
calling agents
Actual buyers.
that we paid for a software, paid $5,800 for a software to be able to get in touch with buyers, and I really do love that software.
Yeah.
So, and then we jump on there, and we spent the day after Thanksgiving
Calling them.
banging around, calling,
Which those leads needs follow up too, because there's other people out there answering their phone day after and
That's
that were
right.
interested.
And so we did that the day after Thanksgiving. Brenton did Texarkana.
Yep.
You did, I don't remember which one. I did Lindale.
Palestine.
Yeah, you did Palestine. So I only had 17 to call in Lindale. Called through them pretty quick, but it's something. And then we're competing against each other and talking shit to each other
Right.
the whole time. And then we get that off of our time block, and it's like, okay, let's go to listings. We have access to MLS. Let's go look at stuff that's listed next to ours and see if we can develop agent relationships. And if we time block our day, we attempt to buy a property every day with the leads that we have available, follow up with the ones that we know are close, all through Cardone U. If we go out and prospect for buyers off of our new software that we paid $5,800 for, and follow up with the ones that we know will answer the phone. Okay, we got a handful of them. Texarkana, we had some good ones, and which Brenton is what he's working on today. And then we call agents and do agent outreach to where we're looking for agents that are repping buyers that are looking for stuff that's in our area that we have retail listings in. And if we do that every single day, how could we lose in this marketplace?
You won't. Eventually, you might have to get further and further away from the place that you're even selling something, but you will find somebody
You'll find something
that wants to buy.
Plus, every contact that you make is now the possibility for more business in the future.
Right, because they're going to start getting our notifications and stuff like that.
They know who we are now. You get what I mean?
I don't want that one, but I am kind of looking within these parameters, or
Right.
whatever. Well, I actually am trying to get rid of deals, and
Yeah. Or they might be a seller. You know what I mean? No, I'm actually getting out of the rental business. Now the second sale opportunity comes in.
yep.
All
Another-
sales training.
And I think that's the only reason why I believe in it, is because it's like we have made thousands of phone calls, and it's the same script every time.
So do you believe that Jordan Belfort, whenever he says that Grant doesn't know,
I don't.
it's like
At all.
you're an idiot. You could have just went and consumed any of his, you could have paid $97, consumed a portion of his content, which he has thousands of hours of content that he's put into
And
that.
a lot of free stuff too.
A ton of free stuff. But if you'd have went and looked at it, you would know that these fucking questions are, it's like hard for him to even find an answer. He's just like, Jordan, you're a millionaire. Why aren't you trying to be a billionaire? That's Grant's whole deal here. But
Yeah.
let's listen to Grant's response, the rest of it.
Nothing is better than building a business that keeps a lot of people in your pipeline. It gives you more people to call on.
There was one of the things I know about. I listen. I did a little bit of checking, right? Not that much, right? And by the way, the reason I don't do checking is because I don't want to. So many, there's people steal so much shit out there, right? I mean, there's all these false gurus and people, the experts of the hour, right?
Yeah.
So I don't make it a habit of trying to go through other people's stuff. 'Cause I feel like then I'll adopt it as my own. Either rightly, sometimes I even realize that you took it from someone else. Accidentally. So
Well, mine's so good, dude. If you watch it, you will use it again. You can't not use it a second time.
Really? Okay, good. Well,
Oh, no, you
what's
can't.
the stuff about being unreasonable? Like when you say if you want to just be unreasonable, like not stop.
Yeah.
But what if they don't want it? What's the fine line?
Oh, you
where-
saw the unreasonable. You're like the follow up.
No. I mean, like, okay, so you have two types of people. You have buyers and non-buyers, right? Like, what do you mean?
No, I don't believe that. I think they're all buyers.
You think
All right.
everyone's a buyer?
Every person, every human.
Time out. Well, think about it like this. if I'm trying to sell you today, if I'm trying to sell you a package of videos for $400, right? Do you need any content on the internet? And I'm trying to sell you $400 worth of content on the internet. Do you need it?
No.
So could I possibly sell you $400 worth of content on the internet?
No.
That's right. But would you spend $400 today on something that you want or need?
Yeah.
Like, all right, the crappie. Did you eat the crappie yet?
No.
Okay.
This week.
All right. Well, good. But let's say
yeah,
I'm selling
I'd
crappie.
buy like a good kitchen knife or something.
Yes. Okay. So Grant's deal is have a product at a price point for every single customer on earth, because they wouldn't have walked in there and tried to buy, you know what I mean? If they hadn't already done some research.
If they're in your space, they're already.
Yeah, but on like with what Jordan's saying, like I would never buy anything from like one of these guru or classes, or I don't think so.
Because they haven't shown enough value to you is the
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah,
But you would pay for content of some sort.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, so you might not buy any sales training from Grant, but you might buy a boxing match where he's definitely going to get beat up.
Right.
So he's just got to come out
There
with
you
that
go.
product.
There
Because
you
that
go.
provides enough value to you.
Oh yeah. I would.
Yeah, you're like, you would pay $50 to watch Mike Tyson kick Grant Cardone's ass.
I would.
Yeah, I would too. Grant, make it happen.
I'd be there.
Yeah,
I'd pay to go see it.
yeah. Just set it up, bro.
Uh-huh.
You're missing out on some heavy money if you would just get in the ring with Mike Tyson. You'd get a lot of your haters would be there, and some fans would be there.
Yeah.
But I'm there for Mike Tyson.
Yeah, like Grant, you're a good dude. Like, you taught me a lot, but
Mike Tyson's about to blow that back out.
and I'm so excited to see it. Nothing against you, man. Just
Blow that back out means something else.
It's going to happen
but
both
but I
ways.
mean, in Grant's defense, I'd want to see that for anybody. Mike Tyson go pound town on not a fighter.
Anybody. Yeah. It would be funny. It'd be over quick.
Yeah.
So,
Whether
They
they
might
get
not buy my fish, but then they're going to buy insurance, or they're going to buy groceries, or they're all buyers.
for what you're selling fish though.
In that case, I was selling fish, but that does not make them a non-buyer.
Of fish though. They
That
don't-
day, that moment.
Right,
that
no, if they don't.
second.
If they don't. My point is technically.
Every buyer's a buyer.
Okay, so
'Cause
you
all
don't.
I'm looking for is money anyway. Every seller's looking for something. They're looking for money. They don't want to keep what they have. They're looking for money.
So you don't think? Okay, so
I think every buyer's a buyer.
Slow it down for 1 second, all right? Slow it down for a second. I know you speak. You speak almost as fast as me.
You're
Slow
on
it
the
down.
Red Bull. I'm not.
Question. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean, the ultimate solution to all sales is to have a lot of people to talk to.
okay.
It's not
big
some
pipeline.
trick.
Right. So if you're cold calling out in the field, right? Let's say you're going door to door. A lot of people do that, right? So whether it's door to door or out on the phone, right? You knock on someone's door, right? Do you believe that you should try to knock on as many doors as possible, try to really go deeper into people who aren't interested, or what's the sweet spot?
No, they should.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's not a trick question. Just, what's the sweet spot? How do you know when it's better to not waste your
There is no
time?
sweet spot.
Okay.
Right, like because even if they hit the sweet spot, it's about volume. I mean, there's no success without volume.
Okay.
So anybody that's trying to like come up with the thing is trying to get away from the work. Right?
Ooh.
And so there's no trick.
Damn.
It's like there's no strike. Just tell them. Here's
Hold
my
on.
product. Here's
Hold
what it
on.
costs.
Hold on. That was savage. I must have not have seen that. Well, the first time I watched that, or that'd have been my Facebook status.
I think you have made that exact Facebook status.
That is 100% the truth. Anybody that's trying to find the easy button is just trying to get away from the work.
Because all Grant would say is just take the contact info and talk to them later. That's
Yeah.
it. Like, if they don't want to, okay, great.
Make
find
sure-
a way to follow up and leave. Go to the next person.
That's it. Get the email address, get the phone number if you can, but don't waste a lot of time sitting there.
Yeah.
You know what I
'Cause
mean?
You can always go back to them. You can always send them a postcard. You
Yeah.
can always knock on their door later.
But get their contact info. That way you can follow them up, because they might not be a buyer for fish that day, but they might be a buyer for jewelry the next day. So if you have a wide variety of products, a big pipeline, and something to sell, eventually you're going to domino.
And I guess I see you want to find the sweet spot if you're trying to use I think if I can, entice them long enough, I could,
Well, it's like what we do. We're trying to buy houses. We don't want to talk to renters.
yeah.
But if we do end up on the phone with the renter, what are you going to do?
I ask if they're looking for a place to rent.
Or
What's their landlord's number?
bang. I mean, you're going to make
Because
it.
it only takes 10 more seconds.
That's right. The objective went from buying the house that they live in to buying the house that they live in, but you got to talk to one more person. You get what I mean? The objective didn't change. You just got to ask for the contact info for the correct party. That's what Cardone.
They say no, or I'll just give your number. Okay, but at least you ask, because it's no until you do.
That's right. You got to ask for the business, but it's like, hey, yeah, we would rather spend our marketing dollars. Definitely, when you're going to spend those marketing dollars, you want to try to get the best data you can to be able to talk to people that need to sell. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to snipe. I'm throwing
It's
a wide
more about
net.
talking to a lot of people.
Talking to a lot of people in the cheapest manner possible, but I'm trying to talk to a lot of people, follow up the ones that I know are close.
Well, it's like, would you rather have super, super accurate data that's a smaller list, or would you rather have mostly accurate data that's a huge list?
Well, and even but that's the thing about the data. The super accurate data still ain't that accurate.
It doesn't even, and at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily say whether or not they're motivated.
That's
it's just there's a lot of
right.
evidence pointing that they should be.
They should be, but people are idiots. And so you would
And
rather
the data could still be wrong.
Yeah, you would rather just cast a wide net and deal with the ones that get in the net, and that's it. All right, let's go.
Ridiculous statement I ever heard. So people pay you for that, buddy? I'm mad in terms of new doors versus old doors.
I don't know. The gold is in the follow-up.
Okay, so in other words, you don't have a distinction, because it's a good question. Don't you think? Like, when do you
Not
know?
really. I think it's a bad question.
You think it's a bad question?
I think it's not the right question. I think
know when to not to follow?
I think the young salesperson should be taught, hey, look, there's no trick, dude. There's no freaking sweet spot of this game. The sweet spot, if there is a sweet spot, it is about creating tremendous volumes of activity.
And you get a salesman who wants to speak to everybody. Like, he's going to speak to someone who's, let's say, have no money, they have no job, and they want to sell a $10,000 product, and they waste 45 minutes in that call. Would that be smart or not
Time out.
smart?
He should
Time
have
out.
started that call with one problem.
What's his answer going to be?
He doesn't like the phone call. It's like, you should have been in and out. You should have
Yeah.
already gotten to that. Like, there's no reason, unless you've closed the deal, there's no reason why that call should have been 45
That's
minutes.
right. Now, this is the biggest argument I have all day, every day. There's a big guru out there that's got a ton of content of him on the phone, and we have seen and been we've been teaching people our process. How long should our call take?
5 minutes or less.
Every single time. Every single time you should be able to get on and off
And the
the
ones
phone.
we close really are that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It should be 5 minutes or less. You should be able to make them an offer. If it goes over 5 minutes, the talk time should be 95% them talking, 5% you talking.
Yeah.
Because they're just spilling on and on and
Talking
on and
about
on.
the house, talking about their problems. I'm waiting for my opportunity, but I'm not going to cut them off.
Don't cut them off. Just let them talk and then get back in the cell. Those are all landmines. Spoonie loves chasing them. You know what I mean? They're traps. Oh, my grandma died. Oh, I'm over here in left field.
The Hamilton deal that I went and locked up, that was a paper contract. After she signed it, I sat there and she told me your life story as a waitress for an hour and a half. But we already had the deal signed, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, that's right. But you wouldn't have sat there for an hour and a half trying to convince her.
I'm not going to listen to all the stories about, her trucker husband beating up people
I like that.
at her diner or whatever.
Yeah.
Or how she would fight people too.
I like her. She's a nice lady.
Unless we have, her signature on that paper.
So
Because then at that point, I'm being unethical to myself. It's like, I'm not trying to take advantage of you, but I've got to eat too.
this is sales 101. So when we're teaching and we get the other guru's teaching thrown up in our face and we pull his video up and we watch him talk and talk
Yep.
and talk and then say, I'm going to call you back with an offer. Like, what did you accomplish? It looks cool for the gram.
Yeah.
But what
Talking
did you
real
accomplish?
estate deals.
Yeah, I'm talking real estate
I'm going
deals.
to call him back and make him an offer on his property. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. I listened to his problems. I touched his pain. I did these things. You can find some old videos of me talking that dumb shit. But guess what? It all changed. My training changed when I got trained. When I got trained and got into Cardone U, I realized you can feel busy and productive just by wasting a bunch of time on the phone. But you'll be neither if you don't put some dollars in the fucking bank account. You get what I mean? It's all for nothing. So get that call condensed down to less than 5 minutes. Get it in and out of the way. When he starts talking about 45 minutes on the phone, it's going to blow Grant's cap because he's like, what the fuck?
Well, the second he said that, he's already out. He's like, that should have never happened.
Should have never happened. Like if you were properly trained, you
If
wouldn't
you're
have
prospecting.
if there's prospecting and you're properly trained, you're not going to spend 45 minutes on the phone with somebody that's unqualified. Just isn't going to happen. You're going to know they're unqualified within the first couple of minutes. You're going to, ask for the referral, ask for the second sale opportunity, try to move them to a product they can't afford, which I don't know what that is, investing in themselves. You know what I mean? And then you're going to get off the call. So let's go.
Because he works at a company that has one product.
That's stupid. Go some other place.
So
because
work,
you can't
change your
sell
job
one
then.
product.
Okay.
I mean, who does that? We're like, hey, it's worked for some other people too. So if it doesn't work for you,
So it's interesting.
so that's the corporate.
Sure.
That's the corporate thing. And then the other thing, that's why I'm bad as an interviewer. I never listen. So you got to listen.
Did you hire consultants or you did?
No, I didn't
just
hire-
figured out yourself trial and
No,
error,
I didn't,
basically?
yeah, I didn't hire any consultants. Here in New York, you can't get people out, so you don't really own the property. So anyway, we created Cardone Capital. We've raised $223 million.
Do you raise from accredited
20
investors or
in-
unaccredited or both?
Now,
And
now
20
he's trying to
months.
rationalize
20
it.
months.
Without paying a fee.
What type
you
of-
you know what that takes.
That's great. So what?
220 million,
Who's your typical investor?
non-accredited and accredited.
Okay.
I'm going to raise $1 billion in cash in the next.
Go, can you go
in
back
the next,
to the,
in
what,
the next
what's your,
18
what,
months.
what,
$1
what,
billion. Hey, $1
gonna raise
billion
$1 billion.
in cash.
$1 billion?
$1 billion. I'm going to end up
What
building
makes
that.
Grant Cardone? Go back to your
Cardone
fifth.
Capital is going to be a $10 billion
I like this.
company. I'm going to sell
Can I have
this.
this hat? Do I get to keep this
Sure.
hat? Is this
I'm going to
yours?
sell this. I'm
Cash
going to sell this to
Wall Street.
Blackstone or Goldman Sachs.
There it is.
So tell me, what was your your upbringing like?
So I made that mistake of thinking I'm going to be great at what I say to them. I'm going to close the deal.
Right.
I got to keep my funnel closed, full. I got to keep the funnel full so I have
All right.
something to close.
Okay.
This is all great points. I'm almost off the subject because watching these two fight, but
It's just funny.
you're reading his book. That's why we got on this.
And he does make some interesting points. I'm not.
Oh, you can learn something from everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he has made money. He made so much. He got in trouble for it. It's like.
I don't remember the point of that movie, but wasn't he defrauding a bunch of people?
Yeah, basically. But he's really good at it.
And I mean, again, what was he in? He was in his 20s, wasn't he?
Yes.
So I'm not going to judge anybody for what they did in their 20s. If I was judged for what I did in my 20s, it's all over with. I was thinking about that on the way up here today. I was like, Braxton's in his 20s, got the cameras in. I was watching douchebag TikTok. I ended up on douchebag TikTok. And what did I tell you about people that about getting in a fight? People that are talking, if they're talking about getting in a fight,
Probably not going to.
they don't
They're going to get
fight.
beat.
They don't want to fight. If they come up to you and they're bumping chest and they're they don't want to fight.
People that are going to do it are just going to do it.
People that want to fight. They don't talk. And I worked in the oil field. I worked around a bunch of grown ass men, and they told me that. You know what I mean? They're like, dude, somebody's talking shit to you. They don't want to fight. They want to talk. If they wanted to fight, they'd be fighting. And
Makes sense.
can't be judged by what I did in my 20s, but in my 20s, I put that to the test. I mean, through the ringer. Because when people would run up to me and bump chest and go to fucking talking, I would just snap their head off. And everybody would be like, that was a sucker punch. And I was like, when you enter somebody's personal space with intent, you got to be expecting what's going to happen next.
Just because you weren't really about that life, but you're acting like you are, that's not my problem.
Yeah, the fight was over with that guy. I was then fighting his friends, So he was done. He came up
The
with
people who weren't talking about it.
yeah, the people they would come up and and then by then Ty, one of our lenders, he'd be in there. One thing about Ty, he would always start a fight, but he would never run from one. Ty's the smallest guy on planet Earth. He would start every single fight, but he would never run from one. So it's like might be me, Ty, Matt, Shive, and Big C, and everybody else is like stepping back. You know what I mean? We'd still be in the fight, but Ty would always start it. Ty got me in more fights than I ever got myself in, but he never look up and Ty wasn't still there with you. You know what I mean? We're still.
That's all that matters, It's
Yeah,
like, you know what? Whatever you're going to do, stay true to it.
Yeah, we're in the brouhaha. We're in there, but Ty's still with us, so that's good. So yeah, that's if I had to go relive all that with a camera, I'm not sure we'd have made it out of our 20s. Like, I'm so glad none of that's on tape. But anyways, we gotta wrap this thing up here pretty soon. Braxton, I like that you're reading that book. This is a short and sweet podcast, mainly just a reaction video to self proclaimed sales legends. I do believe in GC's sales training.
Just because he's probably in my email right now.
Oh, he's definitely.
You know, that's why I believe in it.
He's
too.
yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah, so you're probably getting emails just talking about him. You said his name, he's in there now.
He's in there.
And that's why I
Ryan
believe
signed
it.
up, and it's on the like staff emails.
Oh.
20 times a day. It's
Yeah.
like Grant Cardone. Don't you know?
we got.
Don't miss
tickets-
this opportunity. This is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and now he's in Cardone U. I mean, on Black Friday season. Mm-hmm. He's also selling out GrowthCon in Vegas at the MGM. We got tickets already. We got our call direct.
yeah.
Hey, do you want?
And that's why I believe in it. You know, it's like they don't let you go because
Yeah, they called us and said, "Hey, do you want to go to GrowthCon?" And I'm like, "What's tickets?" He's like, $1,000 a piece. It's like, yeah, Braxton, you want to go? It's in
Do it.
February. Like, yeah, let's go. So we're going to Vegas in February. Just sign up. I mean, it's like, hey, look, I got $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know I like Vegas. I know I like the MGM. A conference of, rah-rah can and can't work. But the last one I went to in Vegas, he had so many surprise guests. His, I think the one they had this previous year, he got Trump to come because we bought the virtual and watched him interview
yes.
Trump. Had tickets to that one, floor seats to that one, didn't go. So anyways, yeah, we've definitely supported GC, but he's definitely going to call you and sell you on something. He's got something going on, and he's going to make $250 million this year doing it or more. And as the recession kicks off and you're trying to figure out, what you're going to do next and how much sales you need to do and where you need to do sales training, GC probably help you out.
I believe in it. I really do. It's worked, like it's gotten us paid. It's gotten us deals. It's just, it is that simple.
And I mean, think about the stuff that we're about to start doing with the real estate agents. In a hot market, real estate agents didn't think they needed anything. Now we're in a different market.
Right.
If you're not prospecting, you're probably not going to be in this business much longer. Real estate being the business. You get it? You got to prospect. If you're not prospecting, if you're not educating your clients, your potential clients, that interest rates are temporary, prices being low are temporary, get in. You would much rather save money on the purchase and refinance later than you had overpay in a hot interest rate environment. Buy a starter home now that you can rent out later, get some equity that you can roll over into your dream property. All of that messaging, if real estate agents were in Cardone U, they would already have their messaging together and be pushing it into the marketplace. So you see who's in and who's not in and who's about that life. So we're going to wrap this one up. So if you're still watching, like, subscribe, comment, all the things.
Thanks for watching that YouTube video. If you liked it, go ahead and like and subscribe, and check us out on TikTok as well, Roughneck to Real Estate.